Welcome to Tree Dog Tuesday, only on the Fueled by Joy Working Dog Podcast.
Hi, everyone. Wade Graskowitz here, owner of Joy Pet Foods here in Illinois. Just want to reach out today and first of all, thank everybody that supports Joy Dog Food. We appreciate everything that every single customer for Joy does for us. We're still a small, family-owned pet food company. USA-made products, born and raised right here. Another reason I wanted to jump on here today is hunting season's in full swing, and this time of the year, you'll learn that, and I did too, if you start seeing your dog with no stamina, no energy, weight loss, issues with the hair and the coat, and after 2 or 3 days, your dog just doesn't want to come out of the dog box. Guys, there's an issue. And I just want to challenge you guys, if you're not feeding Joy Dog Food, give us a try. I'm very confident that if you give us a try and you're feeding a product that you're not satisfied with or your dog's not satisfied with, once you try Joy Dog Food, you will not switch back. You won't. And if something happens and you're having issues, please pick up the phone and call 1-800-245-4125 and personally ask for me, Wade Graskowitz, the owner. And again, thank you very much for your support of Joy Dog Food.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Tree Dog Tuesday. I am joined by Mr. Wade Grashwitz, owner of Joy Dog Food. And Wade, it is a special time of year for guys like you that like to go out there and get some stick and a string and set in a tree and freeze to death and all that good stuff, which I don't understand. Everyone's bow hunting. I'm like, you don't see any Indians running around out here, do you? We got guns now.
I know. It's just it's challenging. Too easy with a gun. It's challenging with a bow.
Well, we've got it's weird now, this more so than in years past, because you think of a guy like me who's getting Ralph ready for the truck hunt down in Louisiana. It's hard for me to used to you would take 10 days off during rifle season, let the deer hunters have it. Nobody really hunted during rifle season, even though, like in Missouri, the coon season opened at the same time. And we would wait. Sometimes we'd go out open night of coon season if it wasn't rifle season or something like that. But you'd wait, or you'd have such big tracts of ground, and the deer hunters, it seemed, had to have or had a little better relationship with the coon hunters back then. But it's a different time now, Wade. Back when you were hunting really hard, and I know you were well, I mean, we were hide hunting too. Hides were worth something. You got to go out
Right.
and skin them, sell them, do all that stuff. What did you do different during deer season back then as opposed to what you're seeing these guys do today?
Well, back then, there's number one, there wasn't as many deer. There was deer, but there wasn't this many deer. Um, there wasn't this many coons either. But it always coon season used to always come in on basically Tuesday night at midnight or Wednesday, and shotgun season would come in on Friday. So you basically had Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we just wouldn't hunt just because it's just a couple, 2 or 3 days. And the bow hunting, there wasn't as many bow hunters back then. That's what's it's not really in Illinois. I don't feel like it's really the gun season that's got everything messed up. It's the bow hunters, and there's so much ground leased. There's ground. Everybody's got a lease, and these cameras. And I'm not telling you anything you guys don't know, but these cameras, like we run 18, 20 cameras. It's hard to even get on a piece of ground really and not walk a road or a trail or something with a camera on it. So you've got people on there. Luckily, all the ground that I own, which is 800 acres. It's rough, um, reclaimed coal mine ground that there's a lot of water on it, a lot of trees, a lot of brush, lots and lots of coons, but it's not a place that coon hunters are going to turn a dog loose.
Yeah.
It's just not. There's so much good coon hunting right here in Southern Illinois that you don't have to hunt a spot like that.
Yeah. Say you because you love the waterfowl hunt too. You fish all the old coal pits, all that stuff. You
Right.
do a lot of outdoor activities on your property. But as a coon hunter and as someone that primarily uses that property to kill big whitetails, I mean that's what you're out there doing. That's the goal. That's all the cameras. That's the food plots. That's the all that stuff. All that work you're doing. It's November 13th, 14th. You or first week of November, Halloween, whatever. You've got a pretty good deer on camera. You've been watching him. You got a pretty good idea where he's going to be. You're excited the next day, and then all of a sudden you see on your little cell phone camera Mike Polkey leading his dog out of the woods. Right there, gets treed right next to your tree stand or something like that, and doesn't do anything crazy. Just goes in, gets his dog, and gets out. What is your reaction as a deer hunter looking at that, but also as a guy that understands that, man, Polkey probably didn't turn loose there. He's got a dog that's pretty wild. If he would have been in there, he would have called me, but it's 2 a.m. or something like that. What would your reaction be as from the deer hunter landowner standpoint? And make sure it's Polky and not me, because I know you'd call the game warden on me.
I'd have you arrested. No, that's an easy question. Um, I don't that I've coon hunted enough and deer hunted enough to know that this time of year it doesn't make any difference. It really doesn't. People want to argue that it don't make any difference. Um, Big deer basically get up on their feet for two reasons. They're rutting or they're out to feed. And this time of year, they probably don't even get anything to eat. They're just up on their feet running, and then they'll be locked down for 2 days, 3 days on a doe until they breed her. So if you're in there deer hunting on me, I'm gonna hammer you. I'm not gonna put you in jail. I'm gonna bury you under the jail. Okay. Uh, if you go in there coon hunting, I could care less. I could absolutely positively care less because you're not going to affect what I'm doing. Um, but I own ground, so that some of these people they feel like, in my opinion, they go out there and spend $8,000, $10,000, and it's theirs, and they're going to protect it like it's their house. That for me, I think that's the big issue. But with the coon hunting, I you know I don't care. I really don't care. Like deer hunting, if somebody's sneaking on there and trespassing and trying to kill a deer, and we have that, we have so much ground. My brother owns another 250 right next to mine. We have a lot of ground. And if you get on there deer hunting, I'm coming for you. Um, Coon hunting, irrelevant. You're not going to hurt anything. Just my opinion. There'll be a lot of people argue that, but that's fine. Go buy a big
No.
piece of ground and deal with
Yeah.
it.
I know Missouri has a ton of public. Um, there's what, one, two, three, four, five wildlife management areas. One of them's real small. I think this one over here, just 4 or 5 miles from the house, I think it's only 350 acres, something like that. It's pretty small, but the others are 2,500 all the way up to 6,000 acres. There's it's usually all in one chunk, and yeah, 90% of the time it's hilly. Guys don't like it because a lot of it's straight up and down, but it's beautiful country. It's oak hardwoods. The coons are in the acorns right now, super hard. It's full of raccoons. You can come over here and just tree the fire out of them. We have, but it is so full of deer hunters right now, and I know guys like me that got a dog to get ready. Yeah, maybe that's a little different situation, but for just the common hide hunter, yes, I realize it's public ground, and I realize that you have just as much right to be there as these guys that are out there deer hunting. But man, it's just a couple days during the opening weekend of rifle season. It's not going to kill us to wait until Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that, until some of them guys clear out. Find a place that's got some coons that doesn't have a lot of deer hunters. Be super careful with your dog. Maybe put a handle on them. But in your experience, Wade, have you seen the same amount of deer hunters that are, oh my God, you crossed the fence to get your dog, you're going to jail, as coon hunters that are, it's yours in the daytime, it's mine at night mentality? I mean, as coon hunters, we do the same thing, just opposite sides of the spectrum where maybe we're in the wrong going in there and doing things that we shouldn't be doing.
No, I I agree. And back when I was younger, when I coon hunted all the time, I didn't get permission. I I didn't, but that's been a while. Um, if I started coon hunting hard today, I've thought about it. I have to get on the phone. I have to go knock on some doors. Of course, I know everybody here in this area. I don't think I'd have an issue, but back in the day, we, there was an OnX hunt to look at. I remember the weekends riding around, I might drive 30, 40 miles north and jot stuff down. Um, wow, that looks like a good bottom. That's a good ditch line. We just go up there and turn loose. Um, I've had people come to me, in the woods at night, and usually if you got somebody going to get out of bed and come down there at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, people, you're in trouble because they're mad. And I always just used to, hey, listen, I know I don't have permission here. I'm in the wrong. So do whatever you need to do. If you let me go, I'll never be back. And I never got a trespassing ticket. I took, and I really didn't take butt chewings, but they were mad. Like, I'm just in here. I've had some people come down and like, hey, coon hunt all you want, or like a much Saturday night, they're coming home from out to eat, pull up there and roll the window down, ask who I am. I'd tell them. They'd say, hey, if you're coon hunting, kill them all because they destroyed 10 acres of my crops this fall. They want them shot. So it just kind of depends on the person. But no, here in Illinois, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's really, really bad.
It gets worse. Southern Illinois, and I give you a hard time and stuff about it, but it is such a beautiful area. A vast majority of the people are awesome people. They're just country, small
Right.
town, hillbilly people just like me and you that enjoy whatever outdoor activities that they enjoy and stuff like that. But whenever big deer became a thing, man, the outfitters and a lot of guys took advantage of that too. Local guys, this 700-acre bottom that I have over here that's, yeah, it's making 200 bushel corn and stuff, but I can make an extra 15, 20, $30,000 a year putting up some tree stands, building this lodge, doing all these things. And now, whenever you're asking that same farmer that was worried about his corn 20 years ago, he's not worried about that corn near as much. He's worried about you making those deer hunters mad that are paying a vast majority of his bills and paying for that lodge that he built and all that stuff too. So, I mean, outfitted deer hunting and leased hunting has had a lot bigger impact than any of the locals and local farmers and local people like that could ever have, I think.
No, Josh, it has the price of what do you call it, recreational ground has just exploded over it, over the deer hunting. It's not fishing. It's not coon hunting. It's not necessarily duck and goose hunting because you have to flood. Most of the time you have to flood spots. But the deer hunting has driven the price of recreational ground in this area for sure. I'm sure all over, just a enormous levels. And when me and my wife bought all this ground, I bought it from Consolidated Coal Company, and I'm getting way off in the weeds, but there was 8 different groups bidding on this piece of property at one time. 8 different groups, and I was the only one. I was only individual bidding, and my wife at first wasn't for it. Like, no, this is a buy of a lifetime. We're buying this. And then once I took her out there and showed the ground, she goes, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "Yeah, we're buying this." And then she got on board and we'll think we'll get it. Now I think we'll get it. I was like, "Yeah, we're going to get it because when you get groups of people, that means you got different personalities, different husband and wives." I said they're going to get into it. They won't get a buy. So that was correct. We got the ground bought, but when we went to close on the ground from with Consolidated Coal Company, um, there was a guy there at the closing, and he just said what I paid for the ground. He's like, "Gosh, if I'd have known that this ground was for sale," he was kind of a little bit of an ass, but he said, "You would have never bought this ground. It's right next to Pyramid State Park, and
Yeah.
just 20 some thousand acres, and it's right next to Nighthawk Coal Company, which is no hunting allowed. So it's a great, great piece of property." And Josh owned it 14 years, and it's probably worth 7 times more now than what it was, what I paid for it. And it just keeps climbing, and it's for one reason. It's on the deer hunting period.
I know in my lifetime, in my adult lifetime, we are getting a little off the weeds here, but I do want to say this. In my adult lifetime that I remember, and I'm talking from 88 till now, probably, when I started paying attention to what land actually sold for, I've never seen it go down. It just doesn't go down.
No, it does
Land in the
not.
Midwest, especially. Uh, I know it sounds high today. I remember when they sold the 140 acres behind my old house, and I only had 20 of it. It was a beautiful 20 acres. But I thought, boy, I should buy that. And I think he wanted $1,800 an acre or something like that. And that wasn't very long ago. And I thought, man, I don't know. I'd never make it pay for itself. And I don't want to log it. And I don't want to do any of these things. It would purely be recreational and all this stuff. Of course, it sold pretty quick. Took 3 or 4 months before someone bought it. And then COVID hit probably a year and a half later. And that ground went from, it tripled, in just those 2 years. The my 20 acres in my house doubled in that short amount of time because
Sure.
people were looking for small tracts with a nice home on it and stuff. And I thought whenever I sold that place and moved into here, I thought I am never ever I won't sell a square foot of land ever again. Whatever I have, I'll never get rid of because it is a wealth base that it's just like buying gold. I mean, it is just
Right.
pure black gold everywhere you buy it.
But when you spend that whole thing, when you get attached to that, no matter what the value is, no matter what you gave for it, and not what it's worth today, when you get attached to something like that, is it really worth anything? Because you're not going to sell it. It's not in your checking account. It's not in your investments, and it's not in your pocket. You own it, and there's a lot of value there. But unless you want to borrow against it to do something else, but if you love the piece of property like what I do and my entire family does, I mean, it's there, but I'll never sell it. I
I
know
hate
I
to
won't.
break it to my children, but when I'm 70, I'm selling all mine. I'm gonna take all that money and blow it. Hopefully, I live long enough to spend it all. My kids have to find their own property.
They'll put a pillow over your head. What they'll do, they'll choke you out.
But no, it's an interesting dynamic with the deer hunters and the coon hunters and how it changes. It seems like by the year. We have a pretty good relationship. As much as I give them a hard time, we have a pretty good relationship with all the deer hunters around here. We've got some major outfitters. One of the biggest landowners in the county is an outfitter just north of me. They've always let us coon hunt on them, 9 months a year, which that's a small price to pay to just let them have their hunters 3 months a year and us get it the other nine. I mean, that is more than generous, and we appreciate guys like that. But a lot of it just goes to, you know, um, having good relationships. Just have good
Right. Oh yeah.
relationships with them guys and know them and be out there and do all the things that you need to do with them.
Illinois, and I can't speak for Missouri, any other state, because I'm not privy to their when you can hunt and when you can't. But Illinois, Josh, I think I'm correct, but like bow hunt starts October 1st. Shotgun season comes in Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then bow hunting is it's 2 weeks before shotgun season comes back in. And it's a 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But after that second shotgun season, every weekend until mid-January, there's some sort of season. There's pistol season. There's black powder season. There's what else? Doe only season.
Oh, yeah.
And there's
Youth.
another.
We have an extra youth season at the end of the year
Uh,
again.
it goes on and on and on. Then if you have at the end of the year, if you haven't filled your tags, if you have doe tags, you haven't filled them, you can hunt again. So that's the only thing. But people lose. I really feel like after this first shotgun season, which is this weekend in Illinois, the deer hunting it loses its luster.
Yeah.
It starts.
Ours is on the downhill slope starting today, actually. Rifle opener was Saturday and Sunday. By Wednesday, you won't see hardly any deer hunters, and the bow hunters are kind of dissipated. Their hot time is the 2 weeks before that. I'll
Right.
figure Halloween for the next couple of weeks before the rifle guys get in there. So there's a muzzleloader season that you'll see some folks. There's some stuff, but man, it's basically just give them a couple weeks. At the beginning of November and through rifle season, and before you get out there and start raising hell with your dogs again.
Yeah, it's easier to try to get along um, coon hunters and deer hunters than to go to fighting. Uh, there's been some instances around here over the years where landowners or people that have property leased and coon hunters have gotten into it, and it doesn't end well for either side. Especially when you own an animal, it's like part of your family, and they start taking vindication off on that dog. I mean, that's not good.
Yep.
And then there's been instances where houses or not houses, but the big huts get burnt.
Yep.
Deer stands destroyed, tore out. I mean, jack rocks. I mean, it's gotten serious over here. But it's easier just for everybody to try to get along. And coon hunters, like you said, if like here, and I was talking to Mike Polk the other day, and he just like he had a guy bringing his dog across the field, had his hand in his collar up off the ground. He's on his back legs hopping. And I said, Mike, best thing to do is just don't even charge your light. Don't even tempt yourself until this is over. And that's the truth. Just let it go. But this is a fun time of year to hunt.
Yeah. We got to bite the bullet, and we just got to do it. But no, it's an interesting time between deer hunters and coon hunters. But before we get off here, I noticed I've logged into the wrong Zoom account, so it says I've only got 7 minutes left before this meeting ends. If it does end early, we'll just go ahead and restart it, and I'll get it fixed. But what is going on at Joy Dog Food? I know we've got the new fish food formula, the Neptune. It is going to be out here pretty quick. I know you're looking forward to that. So what do we got going on with that? When can people get it and all that good stuff?
It'll be released. We go through all this. It's being manufactured actually tomorrow, and we'll be taking pictures as the process goes through down the line. We'll be actually taking pictures of the dog food going through the process. And then, of course, the pallets. We'll be taking pictures and posting all that. It actually should release after testing. We have a 72-hour, basically, I call it hold and wait testing period where the product's tested, and it'll test fine.
Yeah.
And then it'll release on Monday. Now, the only thing we're releasing on Monday, it's Thanksgiving week. So the availability of truckers goes down because everybody takes off next week. So the price of the freight will go up stereotypically. So there'll be some some shipped out next week. But the week of December 1st is when I really expect it just to blow out of here.
Yeah. No, everybody's excited. I know you get a lot of messages. I get a lot of messages. When can we get it? Man, you've seen the guys that have tested the test run of it, like myself and Zach McBee and Steve Yant and Maynard, and everybody that's got their hands on it has absolutely loved it. So yeah, I'm excited to get it. But also, I was talking the other day, and we just had our first cold snap. It got down in the teens. Uh, put the doors on my dog houses, all that stuff. It warmed up a little bit after that, but it's important that these guys, especially with the 24-20, which is so good about keeping weight on hard hunted dogs, the 30-20 as well, up that feed just a touch, because them dogs are a little cooler. They're taking a little more, their metabolism's up a little bit to
Sure.
stay warm and all that stuff. They're getting hunted this time of year really hard. So the 24-20, the 30-20, so good about keeping weight on dogs, but make sure and monitor that food intake and monitor your dog size as you get to really, really pounding them out here during the fall.
No, I totally agree. I always tell everybody, and we were talking a little bit before we jumped on here, the people that are switching to Joy Dog Food, Josh, I'm 62. I've never witnessed anything like this on my side of the fence with Joy or High Standard that ever. It's I'm very, very lucky, and I want to thank everybody for supporting Joy Dog Food. Without you guys, this wouldn't be happening. But the number of people daily, weekly, hourly that are calling in here looking for it or wanting Joy Dog Food is just over the top. And of course, I know a lot of people, and they're like, "Well, what should I start out?" I said, 2 cups.
Yeah.
Just start at 2 cups and monitor it from there. A lot of these guys are switching. I'm not going to name names. They're switching from brand X or brand Y, and they're feeding 3.5 to 4 cups. I'm like, no, don't do that. Start at 2, adjust from 2. And like you said, this time of year, it's going to get 2.5 to maybe 3 when
Yeah.
you're turning loose and hunting all night and stuff. Some colder weather.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I
No,
agree. You're going to have to
yeah,
adjust.
but great formulas. Personally, the high energy and the super meal have been better about keeping weight on dogs that I've hunted super hard than anything else I've used. We don't know about the fish, but it's plenty of K cows. It's going to do just fine, I think, too. I think you're going to be able to hunt a dog pretty hard on it, especially a dog that maybe doesn't react as well to beef or chicken or some of the other stuff that is in some of the other feeds. It just gives them another option. So excited to get all that stuff. I know you're excited to get it all out there for everybody too.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be a fun time. It's a lot of times in December, a lot of distributors and dealers they'll load up in November and they'll back off in December because they don't when they do a year in inventory they don't want a big inventory. They got to pay taxes on it. But I can see already this year um, we're going to have a super super busy December, which is nice. It's a nice problem to have.
Yeah. Definitely is a nice problem to have, Wade. We appreciate you getting on here. I like doing this with you once a month. We talk dogs, we talk dog food. Everybody likes hearing it. So, yeah, if there's anything you want to add before we shut this off, go ahead and speak now or forever hold your peace.
No, again, I just want to thank everybody that supports us. We try to give back. I think everybody's aware of that. We can't sponsor every hunt out there, and we have some people once in a while get upset. We have a budget too, but I just want to thank everybody that supports Joy Dog Food. It's growing, so I really really super appreciate the support I get from you know all the hunting area or hunting people, and there's a lot of people that just have dogs feed it too because of the digestibility and stuff. But I'm very fortunate and very thankful.
All right. And I thank you for being on here, Wade. We appreciate it. This is Tree Dog Tuesday. That is Wade Grashwitz. And you can always check out Joy Dog Food at joydogfood.com. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next one.